Pokemon Sprites, easy to look at and get the idea across of the Pokemon's design very nicely. But who the hell cares about simplicity? In today's video, I'll be taking random Pokemon Sprites and making them way more complicated than they need to be. Either way too much shading and details, or additions to the design concept that are totally unnecessary. Let's see how wasteful we can get.
Okay, so let's start out a little bit simple. I mean, it's the first one, we can't go too crazy with it already. So my very intelligent and amazing idea for what I could do for this one is, of course, Magnemite into Magneton is just multiple of them into one. So, of course, for a very cool, overcomplicated design, the most fitting would be overcomplicated with too much of them. Well, maybe I'll take some artistic liberties and change something else, but that's my idea for now. Well, that's a start. Now, if a intensive stare right into your soul isn't enticing enough, well, I guess then you're in a pretty weird ride. Yeah, I don't know. So, I accidentally made a torso out of these guys, so I decided that I'll actually do when I combine these guys into like maybe a Megazord or something, like a fusion, that this is a whole body, this is the main boy, aka the head, and there be multiple regular Magnemites floating around. Yeah, so with each next detail I add to the design, it just looks more and more like a mecha, which I guess actually is kind of cool, since with this whole concept of overcomplicating, I actually don't have any sort of restrictions, because I'm overcomplicating them. Too much details, too much maybe coloring, shading, whatever. I just can go insane in the membrane with all these edits. So, yeah, I think this goes kinda hard. No? Don't you think so? I mean, she kinda bussin'. No, of course, I can't even talk about now to add the Magnemites themselves in, and I think we kinda pop in. To get a so-called base for the palette of colors I'll use for the design, I got a official regular vanilla sprite of Magneton, so I can do something like this. I'll add a background color that's not used in the design itself, so I can differentiate from the transparent background, so it doesn't mess with me, since these colors are kinda in the same vein of the, well, background. Okay, so I applied the base colors, which pretty much is the colors that I'll be tinkering with a lot now until I get a pretty much very over-designed thing. Or maybe I'll apply some extra details, like maybe brightness, reflections, there we go, on the top of the metallic surfaces, and maybe like plus and minus, yeah, like small details. I think I'm done. It's pretty overcomplicated as it is already. All in all, she turned out pretty nicely in the end, you know what? So goddamn, you know what? I surprised even myself, to the point where I'm repeating words I've already said. So, sure, I'm satisfied. Now, as for the next one, as you see, I have already set up everything for Gigalith. Why I chose him specifically out of all the vast possibilities, sharp rocks and stuff like that could be looking pretty nice when, overcomplicating and making it way too detailed when it's, overcomplicated. Way too much going on with the design, since I'm doing that on purpose. The one that would look the least worst, I think, would be some pretty detailed rocks. Yeah, all in all, I would say Gigalith is a cool design, and let's see how it goes. And here's a prototype. I mostly just made the regular Gigalith bigger and in a different pose, but I'll definitely start reforming it later on. I just wanted to make a different, template on which I could start making changes and something more different, like the thing I'm doing right now. I'm changing what I made initially, and yeah, okay, let's see how that goes. Now my main idea is maybe that it's getting either maybe a deal like Mega Aerodactyl compared to the regular Aerodactyl. It has way more spikes than it needs to be, and that probably could be a thing here. But also I'll try maybe things like it's cracking, like breaking open, or maybe it's crumbling apart in some spaces. Yeah, I'll start working on it, and probably some different ideas will start popping in my head. But I mean, as a custom sprite, I mean, it looks fine, though it's not what I'm doing today. Okay, so, yeah. To keep it short, it kinda looks like like the title says, just overcomplicated it. Nothing more. I mean, yeah, actually, why was I even making new forms for Pokemon? Like, that's not what the title says. So I guess that's in my favor, and the previous ones were sort of like nice gestures or something. But I mean, technically, in this case, I did what's in the title, and I guess more with the previous ones and maybe the next one as well. But for what it is, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty dope, in my opinion, of course, but it looks pretty dope. So as you see by the canvas I've already prepared, I'll be trying to do something interesting with Rapidash. I mean, I like it pretty much already. It's a pretty cool horse. I mean, a horse on fire, who doesn't like that? I mean, of course, my main idea is just making a more intensive action pose with more intensive flames, and maybe more flames, and maybe what not else. Yeah, I'll just start and see where I go from there. A little bit basic for now, just like with any start, at least for the dynamic pose section. I think we slowly can start to walking towards checking it off. I mean, for what it is, it does the job. In my opinion, it's definitely more dynamic. Yeah, it fits the title, and the fine-tuning, I'll leave it for the end, since, you know, I'll just add stuff before I forget to, well, add them. Okay, so as for the details, I think I got the main things down. I'll start improving on that aspect, but as for the base prototype, yeah, now I guess for the fun stuff. Okay, so mid-designing update, and I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, now that's maybe the most relatable thing I've ever said, but I'm literally just rolling with the punches, like add a speck of specific coloring to a place with pixels there, something there, and that there, whatnot, this and that, and somehow we're here. Now, I'm not done yet, but what am I supposed to say? Okay, so it's been like 2 hours already, and yeah, updating from the previous instance, I mentioned something. It doesn't look like it's much change to the initial previous one, but I think the flames themselves could already count as overcomplicated. All in all, I think I'm done. Yeah, dude, yeah. Well, when you hit that one point of getting so tired of everything's funny to you, shit hits different. And as for the final Pokemon, I'm a little bit late into the season, but it's going to be Darkrai. And you know what? Why not and try and make it a little bit more scary / realistic / I say something that probably by the end of this segment will totally not happen and instead will be something completely different. Yep, sounds right. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. And it may be a little bit too late into the video, but the way how I go about with this is pretty much freestyle it, go free with my hand, however I intend to, and of course it comes out rougher than I intend, and after I get a rough pose or shape of what I envisioned in my head, I go back to the lines and fix them up one by one until I get something like this. Pretty simple, right? Just how it looks like. Yeah, okay, I'll stop. Now, it's a bit messy, sure, but let me remind you about this video's title, and with that, I'll just get to coloring. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Literally don't know what to say, except I think I'm finished yet again. For the fourth or third time, whatever the sequence is in the video. I mean, it's looking pretty dapper. Well, looking pretty complicated would be more fitting, but yeah, what else can I say? I mean, I've probably said that exact sentence for like the fourth time, but I think we're done here. I'll add quickly these black patches in, but for the most part, I think my job here is done. Okay.
And those were some Pokemon I decided to overcomplicate today. Let me know your favorite one, which one should I overcomplicate in the future, and subscribe when seeing the button light up. As for this video, it's over. Check out maybe one of these two videos, but stay tuned for more.